There comes a moment when you must decide whether to keep carrying the weight of your past or to finally set it down and move forward. The mistakes you have made, the choices you regret, the things you wish you could take back, they do not define you. What defines you is what you do next. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has moments they wish they could erase, words they wish they had never spoken, actions they wish they could undo. But life does not give us the luxury of rewinding time. It only gives us the power to learn, to grow, and to make better choices moving forward. Yet too many people spend their lives punishing themselves, believing that their past mistakes make them unworthy of happiness, success, or love. That guilt becomes a prison, trapping them in a cycle of regret. But here's the truth. No amount of guilt will ever change the past. No amount of self-punishment will rewrite what has already happened. What will change your life is the moment you decide to forgive yourself. Forgiveness is not about saying that your mistakes were okay. It is about accepting that you are human. It is about recognizing that just as you have forgiven others, you also deserve to extend that same grace to yourself. You have already paid the price for your mistakes by carrying the weight of guilt. Now it is time to set it down. It is time to choose growth over regret, to see every past failure as a lesson instead of a sentence. The person you were yesterday does not have to be the person you are today. Every day is a new opportunity to become someone stronger, wiser, and more in control of your future. Forgiving yourself is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. It takes courage to look at your past, to own your mistakes, and to still believe in your potential. It takes strength to say, I am not perfect, but I am worthy of moving forward. And the moment you make that decision, you free yourself from the chains of your past and step into the limitless possibilities of your future. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are the choices you make now in this moment. And if you choose to forgive yourself, to let go, to move forward, then nothing, absolutely nothing, can hold you back. Mistakes are inevitable. No matter who you are, how careful you try to be, or how much experience you have, you will make them. It is a part of being human, a natural part of growth. Yet so many people carry their mistakes as if they are permanent marks on their identity, as if one wrong choice, one moment of weakness, or one failure is enough to define them forever. But that is not the truth. What you have done in the past is not a reflection of your worth. A mistake is an event, not a label. And it has no power to determine who you are unless you allow it to. Think about the most successful, respected, and influential people in the world. They have all made mistakes, some of them massive ones. But the difference is they did not let those moments define them. They did not let their failures become their identity. Instead, they used those experiences to grow, to improve, and to move forward. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn, to become wiser, to develop resilience. It is not a stop sign, it is a stepping stone. The problem is not making a mistake. The problem is believing that a mistake makes you unworthy. The biggest regrets do not come from failing. They come from never allowing yourself to move past failure. Carrying guilt, shame, or regret does nothing but keep you stuck in the past. It does not fix what happened, and it does not change the future. What matters is how you respond, what you do with the experience, and how you choose to grow from it. You are not defined by a single moment of poor judgment or a decision you wish you could take back. Life is about progress, not perfection. And as long as you are willing to learn, to own your choices, and to keep moving forward, there is nothing that can hold you back. Mistakes do not make you unworthy, they make you human. Self-forgiveness is a decision. It does not happen by accident. And it will not come from waiting for time to erase the pain. You must choose to let go, to release the weight of guilt, to stop replaying past mistakes over and over again in your mind. Holding on to guilt will not change what happened, and it will not make you a better person. What it will do is keep you stuck, trapped in a cycle of self-blame that serves no purpose other than to drain your energy and limit your potential. Too often, people believe that punishing themselves is the only way to make up for their past. They convince themselves that if they continue to carry guilt, they are somehow making things right. But in reality, self-punishment does nothing but prevent growth. It does not fix the past, and it does not make you more deserving of forgiveness. The only thing that does is choosing to learn from the experience, to take responsibility, and to move forward with wisdom and strength. Forgiving yourself is not about forgetting what happened or pretending it did not matter. It is about accepting that you are human, that you are not defined by one moment, and that you have the power to become better because of it. You cannot rewrite history, but you can control what happens next. The moment you decide to stop holding yourself hostage to past mistakes, you open the door to healing, growth, and a future that is no longer controlled by regret. No one else can give you the permission to forgive yourself. You must give it to yourself. It is a choice you make, not because you are excusing your past, but because you are choosing to create a future where you are free from it. The power to move forward has always been in your hands. Regret has no power to change the past, but learning from it has the power to change your future. Every mistake carries a lesson, and the people who grow, who succeed, who become the best versions of themselves are the ones who choose to learn instead of dwell. Too many people waste precious time replaying their failures, beating themselves up over what they should have done differently, allowing guilt to take over their lives. But regret alone does nothing. It keeps you stuck, constantly looking backward instead of moving forward. Growth does not come from shaming yourself. It comes from understanding. Every mistake is a mirror showing you where you need to improve, what you need to change, and how you can do better. When you shift your mindset from self-blame to self-growth, everything changes. Instead of asking, why did I mess up? You start asking, what can I learn from this? Instead of saying, I wish I could go back, you start saying, I will take this lesson forward. That shift is what separates those who stay trapped in the past from those who use their experiences to create a better future. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in life come from moments of failure. The biggest lessons, the deepest wisdom, and the strongest resilience come from the times you fell short. But none of that growth happens if you choose to stay in regret. The only way forward is through understanding, through learning, through making the conscious decision to take what the experience taught you and use it to improve. That is how mistakes transform from burdens into stepping stones. That is how regret loses its power. You do not grow by reliving the past. You grow by taking what it taught you and moving forward stronger than before. Guilt is a weight that keeps you anchored to a version of yourself that no longer exists. It is a silent force that whispers reminders of past mistakes, convincing you that you are unworthy of happiness, success, or a fresh start. But guilt does not serve you. It only drains you. It does not make you a better person. It only keeps you stuck in a cycle of self-punishment. And the longer you hold on to it, the harder it becomes to move forward. There's a difference between taking responsibility for your actions and allowing guilt to control your life. Owning your mistakes is necessary for growth, but carrying them as a burden forever is not. Guilt is meant to be a teacher, not a prison. It is there to remind you of where you went wrong so that you can do better next time. But it is not meant to define you. Once you have learned the lesson, you must let the guilt go. Holding on to it does not change the past, and it certainly does not make up for anything. The only thing it does is rob you of the present and limit your future. People often believe that if they forgive themselves, they are letting themselves off the hook. But self-forgiveness is not about avoiding consequences or pretending mistakes did not happen. It is about recognizing that growth is more valuable than punishment. You do not become a better person by suffering endlessly over something you cannot change. You become a better person by learning, by growing, and by choosing to move forward with a renewed commitment to being better. The past cannot be rewritten, but the future is unwritten. And the only way to create something better is to stop letting guilt keep you in a place you no longer belong. Let it go. You are not your past mistakes. You are what you choose to become next. You deserve a second chance. Not because you are perfect, not because you have never made mistakes, but because you are human. Too often people believe that their past disqualifies them from happiness, from success, from love, from a fresh start. They convince themselves that because they have failed, they no longer deserve another opportunity to get it right. But that belief is a lie. The truth is, just as you have forgiven others, just as you have given people the chance to change and prove themselves, you owe yourself that same grace. Think about it. How many times have you encouraged a friend, telling them that one mistake does not define them? How many times have you looked at someone you care about and told them they deserve to move forward, and yet when it comes to yourself, you hesitate? You hold yourself to an impossible standard, one that allows no room for failure, no space for redemption. But if you can forgive others, why not yourself? If you believe in second chances for the people around you, why not believe in them for yourself? Forgiving yourself is not about ignoring your mistakes. It is about recognizing that you are more than those mistakes. It is about understanding that your life is not over because of one wrong decision or one failed attempt. As long as you are still here, as long as you still have breath in your lungs, you have another chance to be better, to do better, to rebuild, to grow. No one else needs to give you that chance. You can give it to yourself. Every new day is proof that life is offering you another opportunity. It is proof that you are not meant to live in the past, but to move towards something greater. And the moment you accept that you are worthy of a second chance, just as much as anyone else, the weight of your past begins to lift. The road ahead is waiting for you. The only question is whether you are willing to take that step forward. Your past does not define you. No matter what mistakes you have made, no matter what choices you regret, you are not bound to them forever. Too many people live as if their worst moments are a permanent label, as if the things they have done in the past are the only things that matter. But you are more than the sum of your mistakes. You are not the same person you were back then. You have learned, you have grown, and you have the power to create a different future. The problem is not the past itself. It is the belief that the past determines your worth. It does not. What you did yesterday does not define what you can do today. Every person who has ever accomplished something great has failed at some point. Every person who has ever rebuilt their life has had to let go of the idea that their mistakes were their identity. You are not a single chapter in your story. You are the entire book. And if you do not like the way the last chapter ended, you have the power to write a new one. Carrying shame over your past does nothing but keep you trapped in it. The longer you hold on to it, the harder it becomes to see yourself as anything other than your mistakes. But the moment you decide that your past is not your final destination, everything shifts. You begin to see possibilities instead of limitations. You begin to take control instead of feeling powerless. You do not have to be the person you were back then. You are allowed to change. you are allowed to grow. And you are allowed to leave behind anything that no longer serves you. The past only has as much power as you give it. The moment you decide to release it, you take that power back. Forgiving yourself is one of the most powerful things you can do. It is not just an act of letting go. It is an act of reclaiming your strength, your confidence, and your ability to move forward. When you hold on to self-blame, when you refuse to release the weight of your past, you give your mistakes control over your life. But the moment you choose forgiveness, you take that control back. You stop living in the shadow of what went wrong and start stepping into the light of what is possible. Self-forgiveness is not about making excuses. It is not about pretending that your mistakes did not matter. It is about recognizing that you have the power to grow beyond them. When you forgive yourself, you acknowledge that you are a work in progress, that learning and evolving are part of life, and that your past does not dictate your future. Think about the people who inspire you. They are not perfect. They have failed. They have stumbled. They have made choices they wish they could take back. But what sets them apart is their ability to rise again, to take responsibility, to learn, and to keep moving forward. That same strength exists within you. You are just as capable of overcoming, of growing, of rebuilding. Forgiving yourself is not just for your own peace of mind. It is for your future, your potential, your happiness. When you choose to let go of self-blame, you free yourself to step into the life you are meant to live. You open the door to new opportunities, new beginnings, and a version of yourself that is no longer held back by the past. The power to heal has always been in your hands. The only question is whether you are ready to use it. Moving forward is a choice. No one else can make it for you. You can wait for time to pass, hoping that the weight of your past mistakes will fade. But true freedom does not come from waiting. It comes from deciding. It comes from making the conscious choice to release what no longer serves you, to stop punishing yourself, and to step boldly into the future that is waiting for you. Too many people hold themselves back believing they need permission to start over. They think they need someone else to tell them they are worthy of happiness, success, or a fresh start. But the truth is, no one is coming to grant you that permission. No one else is responsible for your healing. It is up to you to decide that your future is more important than your past. It is up to you to choose to stop replaying what went wrong and start focusing on what you can do next. Moving forward does not mean forgetting. It does not mean ignoring the lessons of the past. It means carrying those lessons with you, using them as fuel to become stronger, wiser, and more intentional with your life. It means refusing to let your mistakes be the reason you stop trying. It means recognizing that every day is an opportunity to do better, to be better, to create something new. You do not need to wait for the perfect moment. You do not need to have everything figured out. You just need to take the first step. Because the moment you decide to move forward, the moment you stop looking back with regret and start looking ahead with purpose, you reclaim your life. And nothing, not your past, not your mistakes, not your doubts, can hold you back anymore. Forgiving yourself is not about erasing the past. It is about freeing yourself from it. It is about recognizing that mistakes do not define you. Your willingness to grow from them does. You have carried the weight of regret long enough. You have replayed your failures enough times. Now is the moment to release it, to step forward, and to embrace the life that is still waiting for you. Your past is a lesson, not a life sentence. You do not need anyone's permission to heal, to rebuild, to create a future that is no longer controlled by guilt. The power to move forward has always been yours. The only thing left to do is choose it. So take a deep breath. Let go of what no longer serves you and step into the person you were always meant to be. Because the moment you forgive yourself, you give yourself permission to truly live again.